So a great topic of conversation this time of year is how to stay injury free during race season. I just want to share a couple of thoughts because we've got a lot of people at the moment kind of peaking towards those first kind of initial races in the year. Some have been working towards this over the last 4 to 6 months. Some have come back from long-term injury. They're now building up towards marathons, duathlons. We've got people doing their first ultras across Europe at the moment. We've got a number of people in America at the moment doing a couple of halves and full distance marathons, etc. Behaviors dictate performance. It's the one thing you keep reiterating as a coach, because all the behaviors that you're learning throughout a training program, hopefully, you're being reinforced all the time. In terms of your warm up, your preparation, you're doing your S&C, whether it's body weight, whether it's resistance band based, free weight based, your nutrition, pre and post training sessions, you're making sure you're hydrating appropriately, making sure you're recovering, getting enough quality sleep in. You're adjusting the intensity and volume of your training depending on what else you've got going on in your lifestyle. All those behaviors need to remain relentless all the way through, even more so when you get to that kind of the pointy end of the season or the pointy end of your current training block. You're weeks out from an event. You've got to then double down on those behaviors. You can't let those behaviors slide. And it can happen because as you are starting to potentially deload, you're starting to get fatigued potentially. Like there's a danger, a risk of you taking the eye off the ball. So you've got to then start to have this level of accountability in yourself, or be getting it externally from obviously a coach or etc. But to lean in to those behaviors that you've been working with the whole way through. It's not a time to let these things fall to the wayside. Sleep, nutrition, hydration, strength and conditioning, all these things, maybe the intensity, the in terms of your S&C may be reduced, but doesn't mean you stop altogether. Your nutrition, just because your training intensities, your volumes are reduced, it doesn't mean you then you start to restrict, you start to kind of drop back on your nutrition. It's the opposite. You've got to start doubling down, because it's at this point where you've been redlining it potentially. You've been pushing the envelope. You've been doing more volume, more intensity. You've been compromised sleep. You've got low energy availability right now because you've been obviously pushing it. So this, guys, is when your behaviors that you've been working with, these good, strong, routine habits and behaviors that you've been installed working with these last number of months, this is when you've got to lean into them. Because without it, and this is what happens, you see a lot of people who don't make the start line. They make the start line and then they don't finish the race. They turn up, they finish the race, but they don't get the results they're looking for. It's because those behaviors maybe are never there. They were a bit intermittent. They weren't reinforced enough. They weren't good enough behaviors. But either way, guys, for you to prevent injury, setback from occurring during race season, it's these types of behaviors that you would have accumulated hopefully throughout the last number of months in the lead up to this event. You've then got to double down on them. Don't let them slide. This is the most important part as a coach. This is the crutch. This is the moment. This is the climax where you've got to go, right, does this person need an extra week of taper? Do we need to deload this person with their training sooner rather than later because they're starting to get symptomatic, or niggly? Something has happened, like they're something in their social work life has happened. Do we need to have an intervention here? Do we need to adjust their programming? Following a program to the letter can be the worst thing you do. You've got to have these behaviors around your training program that are going to help you kind of sustain you. And again, it's going to be those behaviors that are built around those other variables. So the key to not getting injured during race season is to lean into those better behaviors that I think a lot of you will already have in part, but then you've got to be doubling down on them, because that's what our job as a coach will be. It's keeping you accountable to all those different other areas that potentially you're going to be dropping the ball at different times. And there's nothing wrong with that. It happens to all of us, myself included. But that is in essence what a high performance lifestyle training program would give you. It's just people in the background. This is what we do obviously every day, is we're constantly looking at this person and going, okay, they're green in their training. What's the nutrition look like recently? What's their work look like recently? What's their energy, their moods, their motivation, even their language, the conversation that we're having in check-ins and in messaging. What's that look like? Because they're all like indicative. They're all going to give us indicators as to where you might be at. But that is how we prevent injury. That is how we maintain levels of consistency, and that's how we get the best results. food for thought. And as I said, any kind of thoughts, questions around any of this, guys, always feel free to reach out and let us know.